Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 6th of May 2022, and what a week of dramatic sporting action we've had. So much to get through today. We start, as always, with football and the most dramatic event I've seen for quite some while in the Champions League. Manchester City, heartbreak for them late on in their match against Real Madrid. The second leg looked to be cruising into the final. Then 2 goals in 2 minutes by Rodrigo turns everything on its head, takes the match to extra time. City concede a penalty in injury time. Unfortunate tackle by Ruben Diaz. Millimetres out. Could have had 2 more goals from Grealish just before the end as well. 2 great saves. One of clearance of line and a stud save by Courtois. Could have been so much different, but it wasn't. Real Madrid go through to face Liverpool, who made hard work of their game in the first half. 2-0 down at half time against Villarreal away at La Madrigal. And they fought back well in the second half. The first half was the worst I've seen Liverpool play for quite some time, but in the second half they were more back normal selves. Villarreal contributed to their own downfall, the goalkeeper making some horrific mistakes. He made a great save at looks one point, but when you see the replay, actually he saved it by accident because he nearly dived past it, hit his leg, or it had gone in as well. It could have been 4-2. So Liverpool won the match on the night 3-2, and they're through to face Real Madrid in Paris on the 28th of May. Something to look forward to. I was hoping it would be an all-English final. Not to be. Pep's probably thinking what's he got to do to win the Champions League at Manchester City, but he needs to think about the league now. Not been a great week overall actually in European football, because last night in the Europa League, Rangers did well. Congratulations to Rangers, they're through to the Europa League final. They overcome RB Leipzig, having lost the first leg 1-0. They beat them at Ibrox 3-1 last night. They could have won by more actually. They had some really good chances to go 3 or 4 up in the first half, and it was 2-0 at half time. Leipzig got one back, but then they finished them off 10 minutes from the end. John Lundstrom scoring a crucial goal about 10 minutes from the end. And then they actually hung on fairly comfortably, really. They were the odd scare, but they also had a chance to score again. So well done to Rangers. Commiserations to West Ham. Unfortunately, they were beaten 1-0 and reduced to 10 men after 19 minutes. Aaron Creswell seen red after a VAR review. He was given a yellow card. Surprisingly, I thought it was a red anyway. The referee went to the screen and changed the decision to a red. He was the last man. There were nobody covering. It was a stupid thing to do, but then again, he got caught out. West Ham had been mainly in control of the game till that point. After that, they were up against it. And like I say, they lost 1-0 on the night, 3-1 overall, so they're out. And Eintracht Frankfurt will now face Rangers in the Europa League final. And in the Europa Conference League, Leicester fought hard. Well, the quality wasn't there for them. Jamie Vardy didn't get any service at all. They ended up losing 1-0 on the night to a great goal by Tammy Abraham, who played fantastically well for Roma. Also a good performance from Chris Smalling at centre half. Ironic that the English team's knocked out by 2 Englishmen playing for a foreign team, but that's the way of football now. So Roma go through to the final, and in the final they will be playing Feyenoord. They won the first leg at home to Marseille 3-2. Last night they fought out a 0-0 draw away in Marseille to see their way through to the final. So you've got Roma versus Marseille in that game as well. So they're the European finals to look forward to towards the end of the month. Okay, so moving on now, and obviously Manchester City will be devastated at a defeat in the Champions League. Now they need to focus back on the Premier League. They're still 1 point in front of Liverpool after a somewhat convincing victory over Leeds last Saturday at Elland Road. Leeds fought really hard. Bad injury for Stuart Dallas, unfortunately, in that game. He made a miss of a tackle with Jack Grealish. He missed it and hurt himself. I think he broke his leg. Sounds quite serious. He's getting towards the end of his career. Hopefully it's not the end of him, so wishing him all the best. But Manchester City qualified, saw off Leeds, who battled bravely, but they saw him off 4-0 in the end. Comfortable towards the end. Couple of help in hands from Meslier in goals. He made a mistake for the 4th goal. Should have saved it, really, but they were fairly comfortable overall. Liverpool had a tougher game at Newcastle in some respects, but Newcastle didn't really threaten at all. Liverpool weren't at the best, but they got past them with a 1-0 victory. So we're still marching on with a title race, 1 point in it. This weekend sees Liverpool play Tottenham at home. Saturday evening, 7:45pm kickoff. That's live on BT Sport. And Manchester City are at home to Newcastle at Etihad Sunday, 4:30pm, and that is live on Sky. The other games this weekend see Manchester United away to Brighton, 5:30pm on Sky Saturday evening. Sunday afternoon we've got Arsenal versus Leeds, 2pm. Leeds obviously trying to battle against the drop now. They've been caught by Everton and Burnley. Arsenal still trying to battle for 4th place. They've got a big game later in the week, which I'll mention in a moment. And then they're the TV games, and then I've already mentioned the 4:30 one, and then we've got one more which I forgot to mention, which in fact more than one to mention during the week. There's midweek games this week. We've got Villa against Liverpool, 8 p.m. Tuesday evening, and then Wednesday we've got two games. We've got Leeds at home to Chelsea, 7:30 p.m, and we've got Wolves against Manchester City, 8:15. And then on Thursday we've got the North London derby, Tottenham versus Arsenal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's going to be key in that battle for fourth place. So lots of action this week to get your teeth into and to watch if you've got access to those channels. In the Championship, Fulham have won the title, so they're welcome to them back to the Premier League for next season. Also, Bournemouth, they've sealed their spot back in the Premier League by beating Nottingham Forest on Tuesday evening. Forest will be disappointed. They've still got a chance at the playoffs, as have Huddersfield. They've both guaranteed their place in the playoffs. The other two places are still up for grabs, so it'll be interesting to see who joins Fulham and Bournemouth next season in the Premier League. Moving on from the Premier League, talk about the National League now. FC Halifax Town, two vital victories again last weekend. Hard fought, both of them. 1-0 victory at home to Yeovil on Saturday, and a 2-1 win down at Eastleigh in Hampshire on Monday afternoon. So they're still in third place. There's still a chance of second. There'd be a really outside chance of winning the title, but more likely they want to cement third. Pete Wild said he wants to have a second or third. Solihull are still fighting there in fourth place, and there's only 2 games left for each team. Town are at home to Aldershot tomorrow. So hopefully people who watch this, local people, nothing to do tomorrow afternoon, get yourself down to the Shane, get behind Halifax. Your town needs you. We've got a great team, we're doing really well. We've got the best out of the players that we've got as Pete, and we still don't get the support. So, get yourself down if you can. There's no reason not to, really, even Manchester United fans, because they're not playing till 5:30. You could watch the game at Shane and go to the pub and watch your game afterwards if you wanted to. So just something to bear in mind there. At the top of the table, massive clash on Sunday lunchtime, BT Sport, Wrexham versus Stockport. It's a sellout crowd I saw last night. I don't know how much it actually holds, but it's going to be a massive rocking atmosphere on Sunday. Definitely go a long way towards deciding the title. Stockport still have one extra game on top of Wrexham's. They've got 3, so everybody else has 2 really. But their extra game is during the week, and they play Torquay at home, and that won't be easy either. So Stockport, if you lose at Wrexham tomorrow, might just be looking over the shoulder more than a little bit, because like I say, Torquay won't be easy to beat at home, and then they play Halifax in the last game on Sunday the 15th, and Halifax may well have still something to play for, and likely that it will do. So Halifax will be hoping that Solihull drop points tomorrow. They're at home to Dagenham. Dagenham still have an outside chance of reaching the playoffs as well. So that's something to keep an eye on, because Town just need to keep battling away and win the games if you can. Pete's hoping that they're going to win both the last 2 games. Be a tall order at Stockport, no doubt about it. We beat them 3-0 at home earlier in the season, but they've come on massively since then. So, and they've added players like Sarcevic, who was basically he was a captain at Bolton. They're in League One, have done well this season. So it won't be easy that one, but let's hope we can keep going. I'd like to get that playoff semi-final rather than get a week off in between. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you could argue it might be better to play. Solihull are in good form at the moment. If they finish 4th and keep the momentum going, it might give them an advantage coming to the shape for the game afterwards if they do actually get through. But it's all ifs and buts at this stage. Just hope that Town can make it through to the highest possible finish. Okay, one other game on BT Sport this week as well on the National League. It's Torquay against Chesterfield, and that's tomorrow lunchtime again on BT Sport, 12:30 kick-off, I believe. So that's where we are with the National League. Now on to cricket and the local league cricket. And in last weekend's game, the big game as far as I was concerned, saw a victory for Sowerby Bridge over Bradshaw. They beat them by 61 runs. Sowerby Bridge got off to a great start. They saw a century partnership between Josh Wood and Tom Belfield. Tom scoring 67, Josh scoring 87. I suppose to some degree that put Bradshaw on the back foot. Sowerby Bridge managed 211 for 5 in total, and then when it came to the turn for Bradshaw to bat, they were all out for 150. They started well enough. Piers Fisher scored 41, but then there was a middle order collapse where they lost 4 wickets for 1 run, 104, 105, and despite a brave effort by captain Cy Collins, he put 27 on it, unbeaten at the end. The rest of the team were out, so 150 all out, and Bradshaw fell to defeat by 61 runs. So that's how that one worked out. In other games elsewhere, just to mention that in the Bradshaw innings, Chris Metcalf took 4 for 43 and Jake Dixon took 3 for 35. So they're the ones that finished off Bradshaw's hopes in that game. So well done to those lads. Elsewhere in the other games, there's some exciting tussles going on. Illingworth St Mary's beat Great Horton Park Chapel. Illingworth scored 245 for 7. The Great Horton Park Chapel were all out for 160, so an 85 run victory for Illingworth. For Illingworth, Tom Watson scored 75. He was able to be backed up by Matty Smith, who had a great match. He was a man of the match. Anwar took 4 for 53 for Great Horton Park Chapel. When it come round to the Great Horton's turn to bat, it was Hassel with 62 and Shabir with 55. He put up brave resistance, but Matty Smith was 7 for 43 through crucial there, and that's a good result for Illingworth. Elsewhere, Ludden and Foot beat Mythe Royd by 4 wickets. Mythe Royd were all out for 176. Schofield got 54 and Earl scored 33. Jack Earl scored 33, but 4 wickets each for Allen and McGow. So Mythe Royd reduced to probably what you say modest total. Ludfoot scored runs with 4 wickets to spare, like 177 for 6. We didn't make a very good start, but towards the end of the innings we had Hosker with a unbeaten 50 and Stott with an unbeaten 58 to see them over the line reasonably comfortably in the end. Copley beat SBCI by 3 wickets. SBCI put on 175 for 8. Again, it's Earl Schofield. Alex Schofield scored 57. And the star of the game here was Ollie Thorpe. He took 4 for 52. He's had a fantastic start to the season. And when it came round to the batting side of things, Copley managed to get to 177 for the loss of 7 wickets. And Ollie Thorpe was the man with the bat as well. He scored 89. So a great game for Ollie there. Well done to him. Booth beat Triangle by 156 runs. The feature of this game was a 274 run stand between Rich Laycock, who scored 152, and Jared Moore. He had 98 unbeaten at the end of the innings. And they scored 318 for 4 in total at the end. When Triangle came to bat, there were no real major contribution with the bat. They scored 162, they were all out. And it was Patrick Thomas with 4 for 30 who finished them off. So convincing victory there for Booth. And then the other match last Saturday, Worley beat Thornton by 38 runs. Worley scored 220. It was Connor Mitchell who scored 59. He also had a big part to play with the ball. Chris Marsh scored 50 and Fahim Katana 47. Josh Hutchinson kept Thornton in the game with 5 wickets for 33. And when Thornton came to their turn to bat, it was Nicky Hutchinson who scored the majority of the runs. He scored 81 out of a total of 182. And like I mentioned, Connor Mitchell, he took 4 wickets for 69. So a good performance all round. 3 players there, Matty Smith, Ollie Thorpe and Connor Mitchell all having big impacts in their games, both with bat and with ball. So well done to those guys. A good performance by them. This weekend we see a break from the league programme. And it's the first round of the Parish Cup. And I'll just run through the fixtures for you. So Blackley are playing Augustinians at home. Bridgehome are at home to SBCI. Copley are at home to Outlane. Cullingworth are playing Upper Hopton. Great Horton Park Chapel are playing Mount Cricket Club. Greetland are at home to Worley. Illingworth St Mary's are playing Bradshaw in a local derby. That'll be a great one to watch. Laymore are playing Shelford North Arm Hedgetop. Lowmore Holy Trinity play Sowerby St Peters. Mythe Royd are at home to Triangle, another big game there. Oxenhope are at home to Clayton. Queensbury play at home to Bradley and Combe Bridge. Sowerby Bridge are at home to Ludfoot. I give another all Premier League clash there. Stones are at home to Booth. And we've got Thornton at home to South Arham. That could be an interesting one as well. So keep your eyes out on those. I'll give you an update on the key games next weekend. There might be a bit too much to go through all the games. There have been so many fixtures there, but that's what's happening in the Halifax Cricket League this forthcoming Saturday. So let's hope the weather's set fair for all those games and we get some clear-cut outcomes in all those games. Moving away from the local league, looking at Yorkshire. Yorkshire made a good start to the season generally. They were disappointed they couldn't finish off the game last Sunday against Kent. And basically they were defeated by bad light. They were left needing 114 off 21 overs. But bad light stopped play. They didn't even get out on the field to even make a start or inroads into that total. So I think they took 16 points from the game. But I think they'll be disappointed not to win it, having been close to winning the previous match away to Northants as well. They've had 2 draws where they probably feel they should have won. Now they're currently playing Essex. End of day one yesterday. Essex had made a good start and they were 234 for 3. A tough day in the field, slow going with the bat. Alistair Cook was a main feature. Sir Alistair Cook, he scored 107 for Essex. He was out just before the end. Patterson dismissed him not long before the end. But Walter partnered him for quite a while during that game. And like I said, it's 234 for 3, something like 96 overs, which is really slow going, less than 3 and over. But Yorkshire were hoping to take more wickets than that. Disappointment in some respects, but it's only day one. I'm sure it was a tough day. Hopefully I can fight back today and we can get something out of the game. At least a reasonable high scoring draw would be good for Yorkshire there. Moving away from cricket now, and we'll look at the other sports we normally cover, although this one we don't normally cover. It's about snooker. The Snooker World Championship final ended on Monday, and Ronnie O'Sullivan was victorious to beat Judd Trump in the final by 18 frames to 13 to take his 7th world title, now level with Stephen Hendry, and he should be able to pass that. He's got plenty of time. I think he's about 46 he's running now, so still plenty of time. It was very emotional after he won the tournament and bringing his children on with him, and there were lots of tears and stuff. But well done to Ronnie on getting his 7th title, and I'm sure he'll be back next year to try and get that record 8th victory. In the World Speedway, the Premiership League meetings have now started. Monday saw Bellevue and Wolves open their accounts at home with victories. A convincing victory for Bellevue, beating defending champions Peterborough by 64 points to 26. A surprisingly wide margin of victory. Bellevue strengthened by the addition of Matty Zagar into the squad in place of Jake Allen. The star of the show though was Brady Kurtz, who scored a 15-point maximum. He's made a good start to the season. Peterborough were disappointing all round. I think the top scorers were the two of the Danes, Ostergaard and Palm Top, with 7 points each. They also rode last night to Peterborough and had beaten Sheffield, beat them fairly convincingly as well by 51 points to 39. So maybe is it going to be one season too far for Dad's Army? It's hard to say because Bellevue and Sheffield have both got strong teams now, both at home, and their own tracks are very strong. Peterborough tend to ride the bigger tracks well. Peterborough's main highlight so far this season has been the addition of Benjamin Basso at reserve. He had a double-figure score at Sheffield last night, although he struggled really badly at Bellevue on Monday. But like I say, it's only 2 matches. They may need to strengthen at some point. They play each other twice home and away, so there's still plenty of time for it to go. It's only the early days. Like I say, Wolverhampton beat King's Lynn at home. I think that score, what was it, 52-38, something like that. I can't remember what the score were actually on Monday, but they did beat them fairly comfortably. But King's Lynn were hampered by injury and illness. Josh Pickering had to pull out of illness after 2 rides. Niels Christian Everson was struggling with illness on a track he's normally good at. He's a track record holder at Monmouth Green. And also we had Richard Lawson riding with a knee injury. The only highlight really for King's Lynn was Thomas Jorgensen, who rode really well. He's got 13 or 14 points from 7 rides, so we had a good meeting. The only other meeting I can think of that I haven't mentioned so far is Bellevue's second fixture at Ipswich last night. They lost by 4, Ipswich winning 47-43. Bellevue will be disappointed that he didn't win the match. A really poor performance from Max Frick. He only scored 3 points. It was down to Kurtz and Zagar. They both scored double figures, and also Tom Brennan scored 8 at reserve. He's coming on nice now as Tom. And Etheridge and James Wright both contributed well with 5 and 1 and 5 and 2 respectively. So second poor performance by Frick away from home on the smaller tracks. Maybe he's got too used to riding the bigger tracks in the Grand Prix, and it's something he needs to look at, or maybe it's his machinery. He knows, and his mechanics, but that's not good enough from him really, and he'll know that. So that's where we are with the start of the Speedway in Britain. Obviously the Grand Prix started last weekend as well. The first round in Gorican in Croatia, and it was a convincing victory in the end for Bartosz Zmarzlik. We saw 2 Poles and 2 Danes in the final, and the British lads, well, Dan Bewley made a decent start to his Grand Prix career. He scored 6 points. I'll be pleased with that, I would think. Robert Lambert will be frustrated. He started well. He had 2 wins in his first 2 rides. He only scored 1 from his remaining 3 qualifying rides, and then he scraped into the semi-final where he came last. So I'll be disappointed with that after such a good start. And Ty Wolfen had a night to forget really. I think he scored 4 or 5 points, and he had 1 good ride, and that was about it really. He just looked off the pace. So it's going to be a long season if he doesn't get his act together. The second round's next weekend in Warsaw, so we'll see if he may well get it sorted out in his time, and he might be back to his best by then. But you never know what's going to happen with Speedway. There's so many ups and downs. In the world of rugby league, Halifax Panthers had a 5th successive victory last weekend. Last Saturday afternoon they beat Newcastle Thunder away by 30 points to 10 up at Kingston Park. That's a really good result. I just also read last night that Louis Giffray, Halifax's French star, has been named the Championship Player of the Month. So well done to Giffray on winning that honour. That's good. Halifax are up to 5th in the table now. There's no games this weekend. The next game is next weekend at home to Sheffield at the Shale, Sunday the 15th. But they're picking up nicely now, and they'll be looking to get up towards the top of the table and gradually rising through there. It'll be hard to catch up with the likes of Featherstone and Lee, but they'll be trying to catch up. We may be battling. They're probably the two teams you're looking at, and maybe alongside York to finish in the top 5. So keep an eye on those teams. You can never discount obviously Wednesday or Bradford as well, but we'll see. We're getting there now. The table's forming itself nicely now, so we get an idea of which teams are doing well and which ones aren't doing so well. Yeah. Moving on to stock cars. This past weekend saw 2 fixtures. A qualifying round at Buxton. The final was won by Luke Davidson, and on Monday at Odsal, second final in a row, Odsal won by Matt Newson, number 16. After a poor performance there last year, getting used to the track maybe, he had a couple of duff scores, but he scored nil twice. He's won 2 finals in a row now, so it just shows how your fortunes can turn. The Odsal meeting on Monday also saw the debut of Tom Harris's new shale car. It looked immaculate. I've seen some fantastic footage of it and an interview with Tom about the car. Also an explanation about maybe why the driver turnouts are so low. The fuel costs for filling the transporters and things like that are going to impact. We also mentioned drivers, not because of the lockdown, not having been able to get the parts for the car, so that's why they're not out yet, some of them. So 28 cars I think there were. It's not a great turnout, but Tom did really well. Apart from Newsom winning the final, Tom won all of the 3 races he took part in. He won both his heats and the Grand National League. Also came second in the final, so Newsom was the only person that beat him. And the first time out of the box for the car, that's absolutely fantastic. This weekend the action moves on to Skegness. It's UK Open weekend. We've got 63 cars booked in at the moment. All the top guys that have raced so far this season over there. Bobby Griffin's back on track this weekend. Lee Ferris still not out. Craig Finnegan not out, but Courtney Finnegan makes her debut in the F1s, having moved up from F2 this season, so I'll be interested to see how she gets on her very first meeting. But it's always an interesting one as a UK Open title, and we're back with an update on that next Friday. And then finally we're going to move on to talk about darts, and last night saw another victory for Johnny Clayton in the Premier League darts up in Glasgow. He beat Michael Van Gerwen in the final by 6 legs to 3 to extend his lead at the top of the table. He is the defending champion. He'll be feeling confident of defending his title, I think, now. He's had a good season. He's in good form. He's been in good form for probably the last 18 months to 2 years now. Maybe he'll pick up the world title one day. You never know. He's certainly good enough now. He's proven he can live with the best players such as Wright and Van Gerwen and Price. So, he could be a world champion in the next couple of years, I reckon. Watch this space. So next week we move on to Sheffield, but Johnny's going to be in a comfortable position now after that, so he'll be happy. Just before we go, just to mention that it's Chester at the moment, the horse racing. The meeting's on the Boodles Festival, I think it's called, on the Rudy. Day 4 today. Been watching it. The weather conditions weren't so good on Wednesday, but they'll be looking for a big finish to the festival. And don't forget you've got ITV racing on Sunday as well, so something to keep your eye on if you're a horse racing fan. I think that's just about it. So don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to press the like, subscribe and share buttons to make sure more people are aware of exactly what I'm doing with this podcast. It's good to have your support, and I want to have more if I can. So thanks again for watching, and I'll be back next week with another update on all the world of action in sport. So till then, it's bye for now.